To begin with, I admit I'm a fan of poetry. One of my favorite poets is named Clint Smith III. If you aren't familiar with him, he just released his second book of poems titled Above Ground, which I'm very much looking forward to reading. Furthermore, I'm a fan of Poet Laureates. Perhaps you, like I, had the chance to listen to Amanda Gorman, the inaugural National Youth Poet Laureate at President Biden's inauguration. If you did, then perhaps you experienced, like me, her words expressing our national experience and national hopes in such a powerful and unique and transforming way that I still get goosebumps thinking about what she said as I'm standing here speaking right now. If you could see my arms, you would see them. Now, I like poetry because it has a unique ability to show us new perspectives, to look at ourselves and our lives through a different lens, and to remind us in creative and unique ways of the common ground that we share. I think we all know that in modern society, there are an awful lot of forces that are working to divide us all the time for power, or for profit, or for other reasons. And it's so easy, given all of those forces dividing us, to forget that as individuals and as a community, we have more in common than we sometimes think or are able to remember. So we have to work to find ways, large and small, ways creative and mundane, to redefine and reestablish and reclaim that common ground that we do in fact share. And personally, I think poetry can be one of the ways that we can help ourselves and each other see things differently in service of being more thoughtful, more empathetic, and more connected to each other. About a year ago, maybe a little over a year ago, I read about a couple of other counties in other parts of the country that had developed county-level Poet Laureate programs. I was intrigued by the concept and immediately began to think about the difference that a Poet Laureate might be able to make in our community and what that person might mean here in Clallam County. So first thing I did was reach out to the North Olympic Library System, and I was so grateful and excited to understand that the library was open to discussion about this unique idea. I was even more grateful and excited to learn that the library was willing to take the lead on developing this brand new program. That gave my fellow commissioners the confidence that the program would be successful. When they thought it was me who was going to be in charge, they weren't so sure they wanted to support it. But when they heard that the North Olympic Library System was going to take the lead on developing and helping us to support, develop, sustain the program, that really led to a high level of confidence. And I want to especially thank and acknowledge Claire Dunlap for her leadership. Without Claire, there would definitely be no Clallam County Poet Laureate today. One key element of a successful program is to value the work of the Poet Laureate, which is why my fellow commissioners were willing to join me in supporting a stipend for this position. All three of us see real value to the community in this work, and we look forward to learning ourselves about the difference that our first Poet Laureate makes in the community. So Jaiden, I don't mean to make this sound like too much pressure. I'm not expecting any miracles, but I really do truly believe that our Poet Laureate and laureates, plural, as the years progress, will play a foundational role in reminding us of who we are, who we aspire to be, and how we can work together to build a stronger and more resilient county and community. So Jaiden, congratulations. Thank you for being the first. You're brave. I look forward to hearing more from you, and I can't wait to watch you be embraced by this community in ways that we can't even envision as we sit here today. Congratulations.
Without further ado, I would like to introduce Clallam County's first Poet Laureate, Jaiden Dokken. Jaiden is a local writer, you already know them, and self-described highly persistent pen pal. Their work has been published in Fiction International, Algorithm, Muses and Vices, Speakeasy, Superfruit Magazine, and Pile Press. They are also an editor and reader for Perennial Press. Please welcome Jaiden.
Hey, hi everyone. I'm Jaiden. Wow, this is really exciting. I haven't read in front of this many people before, so I hope I don't swear or cry. Just on accident, both of them. Okay, so first, just a couple of like little events we have coming up. I don't know, it's me. I don't know. So this is National Poetry Month. So I made a little poetry reading challenge. Can you hear me? Don't you be closer, am I too close? Good. Okay. But yeah, so there's over in the back in the little poetry section, there's copies of the Poetry Reading Month challenge. And if you finish them all and fill it out and turn it in by May 1st, you'll be entered into a raffle that I'm doing. And the prizes are going to be very cool. There's going to be some local art, some of it by me. And New Dungeness Nursery made like a little herb pot situation that they're donating to it. It's going to be very cute. Also, April 27th, I'm doing a Grow Your Poetry workshop, and I'm very excited about it. I'm making like wildflower seed paper, and then you can come and write your poem on it and plate your poem and then grow your words. It's really cute. So that's at locally known co-work and swim, April 27th from 5 to 7 p.m. And we don't have a date for this one yet, but just want to put a bug in your ear that coming soon in CQ at the community center, we're going to be doing a poetry open mic night. This will be very fun. And I hope to see you all there. Okay, I think that's enough housekeeping. Yeah, I guess I'll just get into it. I guess I'll read some poetry now. This first one is about growing up here in Swim and my childhood best friend, Cameron Harrison. I recently sent this to him and we were just gushing about like cute rural like neighborhood stuff together. So it's called Sharing Cherries and a Bellyache from Eating Too Many. Harmony Lane off Bar Road. The ribbon of tufted grass that brushed the underneaths of parents' cars when they drove to and from home. Cameron and Jaiden, showing you their ages on 5 wiggly fingers, allowed to amble down the dried up ditch, past old lady Agnes's house, where they'd be given stale shortbread cookies from a rusted tin, past Goosers, the pet Canada goose who got hit by a car and came flying north. They'd knock on the door of the neighbor with the thin hair and freckled arms, and she'd let them take a couple of chicken eggs from the coop, find their way through the laurel bushes, up over the fence, and through the fields, towards the grass that grew taller than them. Picture Cameron's full bottom lip pounding. Picture Jaiden running through the sprinkler without a shirt, not yet knowing she's any different from the boys. Picture them holding hands because that's what friends do. Picture them hanging upside down in the cherry trees, the soft backs of their knees shaded from the bark, jaws open, and a half black, half chew, juices gushing from their mouths, sticky in their baby hairs. This next one is, oh, there we go. Yeah, this next one is about my favorite beach in Bellingham, Washington. It's just like miles of goo and muck. It's incredible. It's called Locust Beach. And it's called Before Things Got Bad. Do any of us remember the first time we turned each other tender? Sun-warmed mud flats, bare feet pressing into the muck like wet, mushy kisses, one after another. Smears dried into nape hair, crusting over shins, bits spit from our smelling mouths. Do any of us remember believing we could feel this way forever? The cut of a clamshell not so bad, not with a gush of salt water to clean it, and beers to cheers, and friends to bury you alive in this mire, this endless spill of golden hour, this temple of that time. Do any of us remember how in love we all were, our hearts stuffed and sure? Little welts from whips of gold help, worn proudly like friendship bracelets. Bodies sore from the sprinting and the spinning, the tackling and the deep gut laughing, melting into one another, filthy and bright and exquisite. Do any of us remember why we ever left that place? So this next one is a pretty old poem, and I think a lot of writers or artists in general have this fear of like their old work getting dredged up, which I share. But I also think it's really important to like, you know, kind of showcase the creativity that brought us where we're at, and to just kind of like not be stressed about the older things out there that are like not how you'd write today. Like you see all the edits you would make, but yeah, this one also, I wrote it like it's meant to be read out loud, and it hasn't seen the light of day for a while, so I figured it deserved a little attention. Okay, here we go. Perhaps I'll wear my terrible clothes. Between you and me, the gravity gave out for a moment, and in its place, in this liquid space, soot from our smoldering lips is suspended, dancing in perfect dissonance with the dust from the bottoms of our feet, so each and every drowsy particle churns so slowly that I hold my breath. And I can feel the ankles of pensive movement build in all my limbs, locking together like tentpole joints until I am geometry, enameled in stagnant wind and softened by the rubbing of sandpaper stars as they burn out and streak across my skin. Let's stay in this in-between place, in this precise space, just a little longer, please. I'm not quite ready to feel the pull of your gravity. It was about a flirtationship in college. And spoiler alert, like a week after I wrote this, we kissed, and it wasn't great. It wasn't great. Great poem, but you know, it didn't hold up. Okay. Okay, so this is my last one. I actually finished it this morning. So this is its first debut ever. It is called Spring 2023. The yearning of springtime is baby bright, wet and dewy and wanting. It pulls at the rounded edges of our seedlings, the things we keep nestled for another time, and tugs the growth right out of us. The shaggy arm of sunshine reaches, kindly, and it sizzles through the soggy lumps of soil, humidity buzzing, luring us out of hibernation. For me, it's the way these rainbows arch from my house to yours, regardless of the signs we each have posted in our yards. For you, it's the way your tulips are smiling at all these tulips pushing up from earth, their offering of a fresh start, a new beginning, an opportunity to do and be better. For us, it's knowing that the time is ripe to sow the seeds of what we want more of, to look at last year's rot and see all the ways it will feed this year's radiance. The seasons teach us this. We are meant to evolve, change, rest, and stretch towards the light. And like sunflowers, when we can't find the light, we can turn towards each other instead. Our petaled faces pressed together because we know that sometimes all we have is one another. Spring said it's time for us to germinate, nurture and tend, sprout and burst forth, emerge and flourish, thrive and provide for ourselves and others. We don't always get to pick where we're planted, but we can choose to grow. I can stop tearing at my yellow, wondering, do they love me? Do they love me not? And instead ask, how can I love myself better? How can I love you better? How can my love be action? And how can my love last longer than me? Thank you all so much for coming. I really appreciate it.
All right, thank you, Jaiden. Refreshments are available at the table over by the holds area, with a bright green tablecloth on it. Please do note that the library is closing tonight at 7 p.m. That's in about 40 minutes. If you're looking for even more ways to connect with poetry this spring, please do check out Poetry Walks. That's our partnership program with Olympic National Park. You can find poems on 5 trails in the park through May 31st. Thank you all very much. Have a good evening.